Yeah, hello and welcome to this video, the round recap for the second round of this year's Tata Steel tournament. We've had a pretty quiet round one with just one decisive game, and I can already promise you that we had a little bit more excitement today. 7 games in total, and I have to say that we had 4 draws and 3 wins for one side. I'm not going to look at the draws. They weren't all that exciting. The only draw that had some life in it was the game between Hungarian player Report and Sergei Karjakin. Report went for 1b3, and Karjakin got some advantage, but Report defended well and ended in a draw. So we're going to look at the 3 decisive games mostly, and kick off here with the Indian duel between Hari Krishna White and Adiban Black. Both players actually very interesting to watch. Hari Krishna is a very subtle positional player, and Adiban is a real fighter. He doesn't have a great amount of draws. So we have this line here, which has a somewhat unclear name, sometimes called the improved or neo-archangelsk variation or new archangel. It's a bit difficult to put a name on this line. It's one of the more active lines that Black has in the Rui. And in fact, we got a quite interesting situation early on here. Yeah, Black castled and Hari Krishna went h3. First impression is, what about that e4 pawn? Isn't that unprotected? Yeah, in fact it is, but there's always a funny tactic that you have to be aware of. If you take, there's bishop d5 and both knights are hanging. Interestingly enough, there is a different way of doing this. Takes, and now taking on e4. You still have this double attack. This happened in the game. You still have this double attacking idea, but the difference is that queen e8 is a possibility. The queen all of a sudden is going to cover both knights. So we have an early tactical skirmish here. Queen c2 looks good, yeah, attacks again both knights, but Black has a counter idea. Knight to b4. It looks really strange, right? But it does work for Black. White can now take this knight, trades, and b5. And all of a sudden, the bishop, even though it's in the middle of the board, has no squares. Funny. What's even more funny is that, or funnier to be correct there, that this actually happened in one of Adiban's games from 2 years back. No, sorry, I'm wrong there. 6 years back, in 2011, against Yuri Kuzubov. This was something that Hari Krishna could have anticipated. Not sure if he did, but it would have been possible just by looking at Adiban's games. Yeah, the bishop is trapped, and it is sacrificed now on h7 to get to this situation. We have equal material now, funny enough, and what to make of this position? I think it's probably roughly equal. Black has the bishop pair, but has a slightly weaker pawn structure. In particular, the c pawn isn't worth all that much. Maybe it was Hari Krishna's idea to get a position with a slightly better static, because Adiban is such a good tactician. Anyway, a little bit later, we got a transformation of the pawn structure, where Black even got the final white bishop, the last white bishop, so that we have 2 bishops against 2 knights. This is usually considered 2 bishops against 2 knights, usually favorable. But here the pawn structure isn't all that easy for Black to change. So maybe this isn't all that much, even though you cannot, you rather want to be Black here in this position, I think. The critical situation in this game came up a little bit later. Both sides maneuver. Yeah, White tries to put a knight here and succeeded. This is a good square for the knight. It looks at this weakened square that can be used, and Black pushed his kingside pawns with f6 and g5 to maybe open this up for the